The Mobile County Public School System presents Homeroom with Nancy Pierce.
Hello and welcome to Homeroom. I'm Nancy Pierce, Public Relations Supervisor for the Mobile County Public School System. And recently, an incredible event took place, dragon boat races. You probably saw it. There were a ton of people out there. It was put on by the Fuse Project, and part of the money raised is helping one of our schools. So we are so excited, and I want you to hear all about the Fuse Project, and then we'll talk to the two principals involved. Joining me first is Grant Zarzer. He is one of the co-founders of Fuse. Good to have you here.
Thanks so much for having us.
Yeah, you and your wife are co-founders, right?
Correct, yeah. It was kind of a small group of us, that about 7 of us, I think, that really came together in 2012 and thought, we think we could put together an organization that could have a big impact in our community.
Well, we are so glad that you picked MCPSS as one of your projects.
Well, we were honored to have one of the projects be the MCPSS. I mean, I think that there's a lot of areas in our community that we hope to improve through the Fuse Project, and we were thrilled for our biggest event ever to be able to support the school system.
So let's, first of all, what is the Fuse Project itself?
Well, basically, we're a group of young professionals in Mobile and Baldwin County that came together and thought we could make a big difference with really a small group with a big amount of effort. And we thought we wanted to choose who the money or who the fundraising the money would go to. And we thought children were obviously our first goal. And if you can help children's quality of life at a young age, then you can have a huge impact on their really for 67 years of life. And so we thought that what we would do is identify projects with existing organizations around Mobile and Baldwin County, and we would pick specific projects where we could come in and provide the financial support to help those projects become a reality that otherwise maybe wouldn't be able to because of a lack of resources.
And so how did you raise the money? It had to do with paddling,
right,
costumes. Let's talk about the dragon boat races.
Well, we became a 501c3 in August of 2012, and we had a few events and were able to raise $30,000 the first couple years and help 8 great projects. And then we said we need a big kind of keynote event, and our mantra is, if it's not wow, it's not worth doing.
Oh, and it was wow.
Well,
unbelievably wow.
And so we waited for the idea that what's that wow event that we could bring to the area, because there's a lot of events that already happened that are already great that you can't really copy. You got to bring something new.
Right.
And so then we found dragon boat racing, and as you know from being out there on last Saturday, it's a 46-foot Chinese rowboat where you put 22 of your best friends in the boat and you race 250 meters.
Which is about what, 2 football fields?
It's about 3 football fields.
3 football fields. When I saw the boat, I thought, there's no way 22 people are going to get in there. I mean, it's pretty narrow, and but we did. Sure,
it's a tight squeeze, but I tell you, it's a really unique way to get a lot of people out supporting a project, and they exist all over the country, these dragon boat races, and we were thrilled to have them come down into Spanish Fort on June 7th and help us raise a whole lot of money, and we're real excited about the potential of the event in the future.
What's the difference between what we did with the dragon boat races versus being in a canoe or a kayak?
Well,
still a boat.
Sure. I think one of the reasons we like the event was as a water event in our area. There aren't a whole lot of water events, and we have just some wonderful scenery and landscape and water that we need to utilize, and so we wanted to have an event on the water, but also the team building is really unique.
Oh, it is.
To be able to, for businesses to get their employees together, or just community members to make a community team, and we saw both categories fill up quite quickly. You know, in the past there's been trust falls and ropes courses, and dragon boat racing is kind of the new age of team building, and so hearing everyone after the event, everyone kind of thought it was just a wonderful experience for everyone to just get to know each other better in a different setting than the usual office or community setting.
Well, I know when I was at the captain's meeting and someone said that we would be rowing, and immediately we were told, we aren't rowing, we're paddling.
Right.
So what's the difference? I mean,
Right.
you got to
You know,
paddle. You paddle when you row. You paddle when you.
Yeah, that's a good question. So the company that brings them into town, all the boats and everything else, and they go around the country putting these events on. They're very big on the word paddling because it goes back to really dragon boat racing goes back thousands of years, and so they've always been called paddlers from when they started in China. And so rowers came about recently, but paddlers is the word they will always use. So yeah, they'll correct you on that.
They definitely get probably the most difficult thing about it was the fact that everybody has to paddle together.
In unison, right? Yeah. And you really learn. And fortunately, both of us were actually on a boat, and it was really unique to get to learn how that works because you're totally relying on the person in front of you copying the person in front of them.
Right.
And so it's very much you can't be looking at the other boats during the race. You can't be looking up at the finish line. You have to be totally focused. Yes.
You want to know if you can beat them.
Right.
And I know with us, I thought we had already passed the buoy, and I was excited, but it was the wrong buoy. And so I started drumming faster, and my poor team, they're trying to keep up, and that really hurt us, I know, in the first race. But yeah, you've got to really pay attention, especially that first row. They're the key to the race.
Right, and we do have some practice sessions and that y'all were there for as well the week before to kind of get teams ready for it. And I tell you, I think this year we had almost 30 teams. I think next year we'll have 60 teams.
Yeah, you think it'll be that few? I'm thinking it might be 100. And we had it at Five Rivers, which is beautiful.
Right.
Beautiful.
Perfect location for us on the causeway there, almost toward the eastern shore.
Except there are alligators. Alligators. We didn't see any.
I
didn't see any.
Yeah, the gators, there are out there in the Delta, but I've missed all the stories on alligator attacks in our area because they just don't happen. I mean, the last thing an alligator wants to do is come bother you. As soon as they heard the boats and everything else, they're kind of quickest way out, first exit. So luckily, we didn't have any issue there and don't anticipate any.
Well, when you think about the number of people that are in the boats and they hear all the alligators will hear all that paddling, yeah, I would get out of there if I were them.
Right.
But I think everybody had a great time. It was warm. We keep thinking, could we do it in May or April or September or December? And we're doing it, what is it, June 6th
next year.
Which I'm sure will be cool.
It's good. We've looked into earlier times, and the problem is that with Mardi Gras in Mobile and Baldwin County, people kind of focus on that until it's over. And for a dragon boat, you can't exactly get your team of 22 people together in a few minutes. And there's a lot of competition in April and May with other events in the area. And early June, after Memorial Day, is kind of a blank slate for a keynote event like this that would kind of, I guess, get the support of a lot of people. And so it is warm, but I will tell you, next year we're already planning more tents, misting fans. We're going to have misting fans out there.
Love that. That is fabulous.
We certainly have a lot of cold water and Powerade as well.
Well, we need to take a break, and I'm going to be talking with the two principals that are the one principal that will benefit, but the other principal that has started this program because of the Fuse Project and the Dragon Boat. So Grant, it's wonderful to have you here, and the fact that, how much money was raised?
We had $95,000 come through the door.
Wow.
So we had some costs and everything else, but amazing for a first year event to have that much money donated from our community.
Well, next year I want you to come back beforehand so we can talk about it some more and get everybody invested and invited, okay?
Sounds great.
So thank you for coming, and we will be right back.
I'm Ashley Rich, Mobile County District Attorney. The failure to obey school bus safety laws will cost you. It can cost you up to a $3,000 fine and the loss of your driving privileges.
But more than that, it could cost the life of a child. That's why the Mobile County Public School System is urging you to stop and obey all bus traffic laws. Hi, I'm Pat Mitchell, Director of Transportation for the Mobile County Public School System. We're asking you to obey all bus safety laws. It could save a life. Remember, stop ahead when you see red. Our future depends on it.
For me, it started back in 1942 when my family moved to Mobile, and I began my high school career at Murphy High School. Today, it's so important to be able to ingrain in yourself what are you going to do in future life, and you need to be prepared. And so subsequently, everything at Murphy was very important in my life, and so it was instrumental in preparing me for future life and future profession that I wanted to be in.
Sweetheart, gonna give shake your hand?
No thanks, Dad. I got it.
Okay. I'm gonna go fix the lamp in your room.
You don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. There are thousands of children in foster care who will take you just as you are.
Welcome back to Homeroom. I'm so glad you're staying with us. We had Grant Zarzor, who is one of the co-founders of Fuse, which did the Dragon Boat Project, which was just a few weeks ago. Great race, raised a lot of money for one of the schools in our system. And joining me right now, Jason Lafitte, who's a principal of Scarborough Middle School. Good to have you here.
Yeah, good to be here.
And Joe Toomey, who's a principal of Denton Middle School. Good to have you here, Joe.
Thank you. Good to be here.
And Joe, you were the one that had the program, that started this program. What's it called? Let's start there.
It's just basically what we call an alternative program, our night school program for middle school. It's the first one of its kind in Mobile that we know of, first one in Alabama, where we just take kids who are at risk, maybe they're failing and getting in trouble a lot, and we change their setting. We put them in an evening setting with a computer and 2 teachers, a real intimate, 1 to 10 ratio. And they just seemed to thrive, and it helped our building so much both ways. It helped those 20 kids because they were able to get in an environment where it was better suited for them, and it helped the classes they left behind.
So this was this your brainchild, or had you heard about it and just decided this is something I want to try?
Well, it was just a combination of Miss Moore and myself and my assistant principals trying to figure out a way to serve our kids, every kid, the best we can, but also keep our building, the decibel level down.
How many students are at Denton?
About 700.
700. And how many took part in this?
20.
How did you choose them, or did they kind of choose the program?
Well, the first year we did it by kids who had been suspended more than 3 times.
Okay.
And pretty much every one of those kids were failing because they missed so many days. And this year we started earlier, so we took kids who had some problems the year before, and we put them in the class early on. And so far, 39 out of 40 kids have passed, went to the next grade, and just thrived.
Wow,
so
that's
it's been
great.
Wonderful. Yes, it's been a fantastic program for us.
So now we're going to have it at Scarborough Middle School.
That's correct.
You excited?
More than excited.
Do you already have your kids picked, or?
No, we do not.
Okay.
We do not.
What are you going to? What's your criteria? Will it be suspensions or what?
Well, we'll look at it as another way of creating opportunities for students. We'll probably use some of the same criteria that was used at Denton, but we're just really excited about creating opportunities for students who just may have who having a hard time.
And they need that little something extra. Well, that was what was so cool about the Fuse Project and the Dragon Boat races, because as Grant said, $95,000. I think we were trying to raise either 50 or 60, and then all of a sudden 95,000. That was incredible, and half of that money is going to go to your program.
That's correct.
Unbelievable. Is that enough money for it to work?
It's more than enough for a year.
Great.
We did it with about 35,000, so that's wonderful.
It is. I mean, I'm excited. I am so excited. And the kids don't mind going to school at night?
You'd be amazed. The first year I had parents calling begging me to put their kids in because they saw what it was doing for the other kids, and know that they don't mind going in the evenings. It's the parents don't mind, as long as, especially kids that live close enough to walk. Now maybe if you're having to drive to pick them up instead of them riding the bus, it's an inconvenience.
How many kids do you think you'll choose?
Probably right around 20.
Around 20? Right. And then is there one teacher? No, well, there's got to be more
than
that. 2
teachers.
teachers. Were these teachers who volunteered to do it? And
we had about 6 teachers volunteer.
Wow.
And they rotated for the most part, but I kept one person in there who was just that one teacher that knows everybody, that really just goes over and above everything you ask them to do. And they were kind of the leader, and just rotated the other teachers through.
Will you be doing it again this year?
Every year that I'm there.
Every year,
yes.
You can. How about you? Will you, Jason, are you going to depend a lot on Joe?
I will. We'll be working together and trying to figure out what work with him. But,
good.
So
do you plan to start it right away?
Yes.
As soon as school starts, pretty much?
Right, probably around the first month of school.
Do your parents know yet?
No, they don't.
They don't?
They don't.
How do you think they'll feel about it? You think they'll be pretty eager?
I think they'll be excited. I know I've talked with a few of my teachers. They're excited about it. Our administrators are excited. Just as a whole group at Scarborough, we really are excited about this.
Do you already have the teachers picked out?
No, we don't. No, we don't.
Okay.
Not yet. Probably when school starts, we'll start working with them and seeing who will volunteer and who will be interested.
It's unbelievable. So do they do all subjects or just one or two or all subjects?
They do all subjects, and you can do it a number of different ways, but we like to do all subjects in one day, but you could take one day and do math and one day and do language arts and really drill it down like that as well.
What do you think the key is, Joe?
I think the key is you got a bunch of kids that maybe were used to people thinking they were supposed to be bad in class.
Right.
And you put them in there together, there's nobody to impress. There's 20 people in there, and they're just in there with that group, and the teachers just won't allow them to fail.
And the computer aspect has got to help.
It makes a big difference. The kid that maybe doesn't want to sit and listen to a lecture all day, it's a perfect situation for them because they just come in, they do their work, and that's it, they're done.
What time does it start?
3 o'clock.
Oh, right after school. Okay.
Right after school.
And then how long does it last?
Usually till about 7.
Okay, and then for how long? Is it 5 days a week or?
Yeah, well, we've done it both ways. We did it 4 days because of the funding 1 year and 5 days the other year.
For how many weeks?
Pretty much from the second quarter all the way through.
Okay. Do you think you're going to wait till second quarter?
We would like to get started as soon as possible.
Get started as soon as you
we
can.
Really would. We really would.
He has it where he'll have the money. We have to wait for October to get the money, from Title I or wherever we get it from. So,
how did this all come about as far as with the Fuse project and as far as what?
Somebody sent them to me. I think it was Miss Moore, and they came and they observed what the kids were doing. They came during the regular day. They came and did some interviews with some kids whose lives were just changed. Kids who've been suspended 30 times. One kid had failed 2 times in the same grade, and they talked to those kids and just saw what a change it was. Those kids went from kids who probably weren't going to graduate to kids who are on track to graduate in a year. And when you're a parent or a student and you see that they saw Spencer Toole, who's the one that came and to us, and he saw the excitement in those kids' eyes. You can't beat that.
Yeah, that's wonderful. How was Scarborough picked, Jason?
Well, I got a call one day from Spencer, and he was telling me about the program. But it was interesting that when I first heard about this program was about a year ago in a principal's meeting, and I was real excited then. But the issue was the funding.
Sure.
So when I got the call from Spencer about this, we were just really excited about it.
So it costs about $35,000 a year
to run it to Fidelity. Yes.
Okay. Okay. So you've got about close to $45,000, maybe a little more, $46,000. Will you have just one time this fall, or will you try to do it in the spring too? I mean, did you do it in the spring and the fall, or what?
We did it all year.
All year. So that $35,000 that you
35 was from the second quarter on. So with 40, 45, he could do it all year.
Are you planning on doing it all year?
Yes, we will.
Are any of your kids going to talk to his kids?
I'm sure.
To kind of get them excited and.
What we'll do is make sure they see the video where my kids are talking on the video, and of course, if anybody wanted to talk, I've got 2 or 3 kids that would go over there in a heartbeat and tell them all about it.
Oh, that's really cool. Because, we can talk as adults to kids, but a lot of times they need to hear from their peers.
Sure.
It makes a whole lot more sense. Yeah, because these kids probably might be a little tough because, they've been suspended, maybe had fights, whatever, but to hear it from somebody else, don't you think that makes a lot of difference?
I think it's going to be big. I think it's big.
How the heck do you pick the kids? I mean, not saying that you will have more than you need, but that's going to be tough. Was that tough for you, Joe?
It was, but you just look at who's going to help the building by them, being in the program, and who's needing it the most. A kid that's, maybe failed a year, definitely should be at the top, especially if they're going to be a discipline problem or have been. Because that's a kid that's going to benefit from it so much. And those kids are leaders. I mean, they're leaders to begin with, so you want them leading people down the right path and not the wrong path.
Right. What about the parents? Were they pretty, well, at the beginning, how they feel?
You know, at the beginning, I really thought we were going to have to force people to go. But, you know, every time I brought it up, parents said, yeah, please, let me sign. That sounds wonderful. I mean, like I said, I had people calling me. I probably could have had 40 or 50 the first year, just because they heard about it and saw what it was doing, you know, for the kids.
Do you have to have a cutoff? I mean, you can only have so many kids.
Well, you have to. You only have so many computers, for
Right.
one thing, and then, you know, it just, the numbers financially to add another teacher
Right.
would be huge.
We're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back, so stay there, and you all come back, and we'll be right back.
It started for me when I went into the first grade, and then I went on to George Hall Elementary School, and from there to Williamson, where I graduated. The public school system, it had a great impact on me because not only did it prepare me academically for my future career, but it also prepared me for life. Because of its diversity of students and teachers, it really gave me a well-rounded education.
So, Nicholas, how was your day at school today?
It was great. We had fun in class today.
So, what did you do differently today at school? I mean, any new projects?
We got a progress report today.
You got your progress reports today? So, how did you do?
Don't know.
You don't know. That's okay. We can check that right here. Wow. Nicholas.
So this is my computer?
This is your computer. Let's go on the internet.
Let's go. Click it.
Yes.
Okay.
I cursor in between the R and the E. Pressing dot, I want you to just push the period.
She's gonna love me all over again now.
That's it. Jamaica, here you come.
Here we go.
Good job.
Right. Thank you. Thank you. And I did it by myself. Feel smarter.
Welcome back to Homeroom. So glad you stayed with us. We're talking about a great project, the Fuse project, which had the Dragon Boat races just a little while ago. We're going to talk about those a little longer and a little later, but we also want to talk about where the money went, and it is going to support a project for an alternative school, a nighttime school, really, it's after school, at Scarborough Middle School, and the principal's with me today, Jason Lafitte, and also Joe Toomey is here with me, and he had started the program 2 years ago, Joe?
2 years.
And to catch everybody up, if they just are joining us now, it's a program for
basically at-risk youth who are struggling in the daytime environment.
So, and what kind of success have you had?
39 out of 40 kids have been extremely successful. One kid just didn't make it, you know, went about 3 weeks and
stopped.
Right, but everybody else has finished the program, passed, moved to the next grade.
That is a great percentage. You have to be really happy.
I'm so ecstatic because those are kids that, you know, they're going to be back in my grade in the school the next year for the most part, and to have them move up a grade and be on track, because all it takes is a kid for the light to turn on for them, and once it does, when they came back, we put some back in regular school this year. They just thrived. You know, they've got some success now.
That is so exciting. And so because of the Fuse project and the money that was raised, $95,000 at the boat races, you're going to be able to fund the program. Would you have been able to fund it without this project?
No, absolutely not. We would not have.
So we are so glad that the Fuse project, which Grant Zarzor was here earlier talking about it, they decided that they wanted to fund the program at Scarborough, which is really cool. It says a lot for you, Joe, and your kids, and a lot for you. So it's going to be so exciting. What we need to do is when you start your program, you'll have to come back, you know, maybe like halfway through, let me know how it's going. You excited?
We're more than excited.
Now, do the parents know yet? Do all the parents know that you're thinking about this or not?
They do not know just yet, but we're waiting to roll this out to everyone and roll it out to the faculty members so they'll know how big this is going to be for the whole school.
Well, now that we have the money, which is incredible, let's talk about the Dragon Boat races, because that was where the money came from. You both run a team. Which team were you on?
The team that beat your team.
No.
We
We
were
came
on-
in second overall. You came in third.
We
Not
were-
overall. Go ahead.
We were on the It Starts With Us 2. There was a It Starts With Us 1, which
Right.
you were on, and Clark Shaw.
And Clark Shaw honestly beat both of us.
They did.
They did a great
did.
job. But it was so much fun, wasn't it?
It really was.
Now, even though it was mainly a Denton team, well, not really. You had a lot of people from different schools.
Right, Denton, CLC, and Scarborough.
Okay. What happened as far as team building? Do you think it helped? Jason, what do you think?
I think it did. I think it did. It brought a lot of camaraderie between the three schools, and it really looked good for us.
And nobody threw anybody over.
No, nobody.
But it was fun. I mean, were you really competitive, or was it just, I know it was hard, it was difficult, but did you really want to win? Or, I mean, everybody wants to win, but
Right.
did it really matter in the long run?
Well, I won't lie. It mattered to me.
No, we wanted to
I want
win.
to beat my
Okay.
mama
We
in
wanted to win.
cards. You
Yeah,
know?
we wanted to win.
So
Okay. Well, so next year, will you do it again?
absolutely. Next year, I might sponsor the team though and sit on the sidelines and,
Oh, come
and coach.
on. Well, I want to paddle next year. Every team has to have a drummer, which sits in the front and pounds on a drum and tries to keep the team going together. But, you know, doing that, you look at the team and they're working like crazy and you feel so awful that you aren't doing anything but pounding on a drum. So I don't want to do that next year.
Well,
No.
we've already signed you up already for next year.
Okay, I'm ready. I really am. Although it's so different from being in a canoe. Different
It
strokes,
really
isn't
is.
it?
It really is. You have to reach way out,
Uh-huh.
and it's not like, you know, a rowboat or anything like that, or a kayak or a canoe, either one.
And you have to really be in sync. When you think about 20 people, 22 people, all paddling the same time, the same way. But practice helped, but I think it hurt when people weren't there.
It really did.
Yeah, because you don't, I mean, it is so different.
It is.
But to imagine that race, those races brought in $95,000. And it wasn't that people had to pay to go watch. And there were, how many people do you think were there watching?
Maybe 500.
It
Yeah.
was a big crowd.
It was a big
really
crowd,
big
and it
crowd.
was hot.
It was.
That it was.
It was very hot, and but it was. I was amazed at how many people were there. There was jumpies for the kid. There was a jumpy for the kids. There was a slide for the kids. There was some food on sale. Incredible event.
It really
But
was.
still, what gets me is the $95,000.
They'll double that next year.
Oh, I think so, and double the number of teams. 27 teams this year. We could have. I keep thinking all the schools want to do it. All the schools want to do it now. But did you get tired? Were you tired?
I was worn out.
Worn out. Worn out. What hurt the most?
It was just hard to kind of get everybody in sync. Just
Yeah.
trying to get everybody in the same. That was the hard part about it. But we did well.
Yeah, you did. You really did. How about you, Joe? Were you sore at all?
No, somebody hit me in the elbow with their paddle. That hurt. But
Ow.
That was about it.
It wasn't Jason, was it?
No, but it was because I was out of sync. So
Oh. So were they trying to get you?
no,
in
they
sync?
just were ahead
Yeah.
of me. So.
But next year, we need more practices.
Absolutely.
But I am so proud of the 3 teams from the school system. Even if we didn't win first place, the team that won first place was phenomenal.
They really were.
I've never seen, I mean, they were so in sync. But it was great team building, it was great fun, and a great way to raise money for a great cause. I can't wait to hear how Scarborough does with this program that Joe's had going for a couple years, because I know it's going to be successful.
We can't wait to get started.
Oh,
we can't wait.
I'm so excited, and school's going to start real soon, huh?
Pretty soon.
Amazing, amazing. Well, I'm so glad you were here, both of you. You'll have to come back, and we'll talk about this later and find out how things went.
Hey, thanks for
Can I
having me.
count on you?
Sure.
All right. And thank you so much for joining us. We've had a great time talking about Fuse and the Dragon Boat races and the alternative schools. Come back next week.